Have you ever felt that strange pain when someone you love pulls away? Have you ever given your heart so fully that when they leave it feels like your soul breaks apart? This is the hidden danger of emotional attachment. Most people think love and closeness always mean joy, but the truth is darker. Nietzsche and Freud warned us long ago. When you tie your happiness to another person, you risk losing yourself. Think about it. Every time you cling to someone, you place your peace in their hands. If they smile, you feel alive. If they ignore you, you feel dead inside. This is not freedom. This is slavery. Nietzsche believed that true strength comes from standing alone, not needing anyone's approval. He said that when you bow before love, you risk worshipping chains that look like gifts. Freud, too, saw the shadow side. He said our attachments are never pure. They come from hidden needs buried in childhood. The way we cried for our parents' touch is the same way we later crave lovers, friends, or even strangers. We do not love with freedom, we love with wounds. And when we love with wounds, we bleed when people turn away. Let's be clear. Attachment feels sweet at first. It feels like safety. You think, this person will always be there. They will protect me. But Nietzsche would whisper in your ear, careful. What you call safety is a cage. He wanted us to become free spirits, strong and whole even when alone. But attachment makes you weak because your joy hangs by another's thread. Freud would go even deeper. He would tell you that attachment is not only about love, it is about fear. Fear of being alone, fear of emptiness, fear of silence. This fear hides in the unconscious and drives you into bonds that may destroy you. You do not choose freely. You are pulled by forces you cannot see. This is the dark side. When you open your soul without limits, when you make yourself vulnerable without awareness, you hand over power. You allow someone else to control your inner weather. They say one harsh word and your sun turns to storm. They walk away and your world falls apart. Nietzsche would call this weakness. He hated weakness. He wanted people to rise above the herd, to stand tall, to not break under loss. To him, attachment was dangerous because it stops you from becoming who you really are. You live through another, you depend, and dependence kills the spirit. Freud would not use the same words, but he would agree. For him, when we attach too much, we are really repeating old childhood pain. We cling because deep down we never healed the first wound, the fear of being abandoned. So in every bond, we seek a parent, not a partner. We seek to fill a hole that no one can ever fill. And so the cycle goes. You get attached, you feel alive, you feel safe. But the bond is fragile. One crack and you fall. One betrayal and you collapse. Nietzsche would tell you this is not love. It is weakness disguised as devotion. Freud would tell you this is not love. It is a wound asking for care. Both point to the same truth. Blind vulnerability is dangerous. So, the question is, how do you stop being a prisoner of attachment? How do you love without chains? How do you open without bleeding? The first step is to face the truth. Most of us fear being alone more than anything, but Nietzsche says, stand alone and you will grow. Most of us fear our inner emptiness, but Freud says, face your wound and you will heal. If you do not face these truths, you will keep giving your heart to those who do not deserve it. You will keep suffering because your soul hangs on the fragile thread of someone else's presence. Attachment will own you, vulnerability will break you, and you will wonder why life feels like chains, not freedom. But if you do face it, something powerful happens. You begin to see that your worth is not tied to anyone. You begin to see that freedom does not come from clinging but from standing. Nietzsche wanted us to love not from weakness but from strength. Freud wanted us to stop repeating old wounds and to see where the pain really comes from. Attachment is sweet poison. Vulnerability without wisdom is a trap. The question is, will you keep drinking the poison? Or will you wake up and see what Nietzsche and Freud tried to show us? We must now look deeper at the mask that attachment wears. On the surface it feels warm. It feels like home. You meet someone, they give you attention, they listen to you, you feel seen, and slowly, without knowing, you give them more and more power over your heart. This is the illusion. Attachment whispers, now you are safe. But safety is a lie. Nietzsche would shout, do not trust comfort. Comfort is the enemy of growth. He believed that life is struggle, and strength comes from standing in struggle. When you hide in the arms of another, you hide from the battle that makes you strong. Freud would peel away the layers of this illusion. He would say, what you call safety is really the old dream of childhood. You want to go back to the time when your mother or father held you and made the world feel safe, but you are no longer a child. To stay in that dream is to stay stuck. Think about it. How many times have you felt crushed because someone did not answer a message, did not return your love, or left you behind? At that moment, your heart raced, your mind burned, and your whole world shook. Why? Because you placed your sense of safety in their hands. You gave them the keys to your peace. Nietzsche hated this kind of weakness. To him, a strong spirit does not break because of another's action. A strong spirit stands even when the world turns cold. He wanted us to rise above this kind of need, to say, I do not cling to you for safety. I stand on my own, and from that strength, I can love. Freud would explain the mechanics behind the pain. He would say the reason we get so destroyed by rejection is because it touches the first wound of life, the fear of being abandoned, the fear of not being enough. When someone pulls away, it feels like the parent who did not hold us enough, who left us crying in the dark. It is not the person who hurts us, it is the wound inside that still bleeds. This is why attachment is dangerous. It gives us the illusion of protection, but in reality it awakens the deepest fears of the soul. One day, the person we trust fails us, and in that moment, the mask falls. The sweet safety becomes bitter poison, Nietzsche would say. Good. Let the mask fall. Now you can face the truth that strength lies not in others but in yourself. He believed that only by facing loss and standing through it do we grow into who we truly are. Comfort weakens, pain strengthens. Freud, in his own way, would agree. He would say the pain that comes from broken attachment is the sign that old wounds are still alive, and if you face those wounds, if you bring them to the light, then you can finally heal. But if you run, if you cling, you repeat the same cycle forever. This is the cruel cycle of attachment. First it gives sweetness, then it demands dependence, then it brings pain. And in that pain you either wake up or you stay asleep. Most people stay asleep. They move from one person to another, always chasing safety, always fearing loss, never facing the wound inside. Nietzsche would call this herd living. The weak follow the same pattern, hoping for comfort, hiding from truth. But the strong, the free spirits, break the pattern. They face pain. They let go of chains. They stand even when alone. Freud would call it repetition compulsion. The unconscious makes you repeat the same attachments again and again until you finally become aware. Once you see it, you can choose differently. You can break the spell. The lesson here is simple. Safety from attachment is not real safety, it is illusion. Real safety comes only when you know yourself, when you face your wound, when you do not need another to tell you that you are whole. So, let me ask you, how much of your life has been ruled by this illusion? How many tears have you shed because you gave someone else the keys to your soul? Nietzsche and Freud would tell you, this pain is not a curse, it is a teacher, and only when you listen will you be free. Now we arrive at the most dangerous side of emotional attachment, vulnerability. Everyone tells you that being open is beautiful. They say, show your heart, share your soul, let people in. And yes, there is truth in that. But Nietzsche and Freud would warn you, what you call openness can also become a weapon used against you. When you reveal your deepest fears, your hidden desires, your secret wounds, you hand another person the sharpest tools to hurt you. Think about it, who can wound you the most? A stranger on the street, or the one you love? A harsh word from a stranger may sting, but it fades. A harsh word from the one who knows your soul can cut so deep you bleed for years. Nietzsche saw this clearly. He warned that those who give away their soul to quickly become prey. He believed life is full of power struggles. Every bond holds a shadow of control. The more you expose your weakness, the more you invite others to dominate you, he would say. Guard your depths. Do not hand your sacred center to just anyone. Freud would explain why we expose ourselves so quickly. He would say our need to be seen, to be understood, is ancient. From birth we cried to be held. We learned to survive by showing need. As adults, this same hunger drives us to reveal our pain to others, hoping they will soothe us, but here lies the trap. Not everyone wants to soothe, some want to use. When you show your wound, two things can happen. Someone may hold it with care, or someone may press on it harder, and the deeper your attachment, the more you cannot escape. You stay even when it hurts, you forgive even when betrayed, because your vulnerability ties you down. Nietzsche would spit at this kind of weakness. He would say, stop begging for comfort. Stop exposing yourself to those who will use you. Become strong enough to hold your own pain, so you do not need to kneel before others for him. True strength was not in never loving, but in never being broken by love. Freud would look inside and say, you seek comfort because the child in you is still crying. You reveal too much because deep down you hope to find the parent you lost. But the truth is harsh. No lover, no friend, no partner can heal the wound of childhood. Only you can. So what happens when vulnerability becomes a weapon? You stop being free. You feel chained to those who hurt you. You wait for their call. You crave their touch. Even when they wound you, you cannot let go because they know too much. They hold the keys to your secret self. This is why Nietzsche taught the idea of becoming a higher self, an overman. He wanted us to rise beyond this cycle, to love not from weakness but from overflow, to give without begging, to share without fear, to stay whole even if left alone. Freud's lesson is different but points to the same end. He tells us your vulnerability is not wrong, but you must understand it. You must see where it comes from. If you expose yourself blindly, you repeat the old wounds again and again. But if you become conscious, you can choose. You can open when it is safe and close when it is not. The dark side of vulnerability is not in showing your heart. It is in showing it without wisdom. It is in giving it to those who cannot hold it. It is in clinging to those who press where it hurts most. Nietzsche would tell you, strength first, then openness. Freud would tell you, awareness first, then sharing. Both point to the same truth. Protect your soul, or you will bleed endlessly. So, ask yourself now, who holds your secrets? Who knows your softest places? Have they honored them, or have they used them against you? This is not a small question. It is life or death for the soul. If you choose wrong, Your vulnerability becomes your prison. If you choose right, it becomes your bridge to true connection. But the choice is never outside. It begins inside. When you know yourself, when you face your wound, when you stand strong, then you can choose wisely. Vulnerability is no longer a weapon against you, it becomes a gift you give from strength. This is what Nietzsche and Freud would both want you to see. Vulnerability without strength is danger. Vulnerability with awareness is power. The difference between the two is the difference between chains and freedom. You have now seen the danger. Attachment makes you weak. Vulnerability without wisdom becomes a weapon. But here comes the question. How do you break free? How do you stop being a prisoner of love, of fear, of wounds? Nietzsche and Freud give us two very different, yet strangely connected, answers. Nietzsche believed that the only way out is strength. He would say, do not beg for safety, create yourself. Become the one who does not need anyone to stand. For him the path was hard. You must face loneliness, you must face pain, you must even face the death of your illusions. But if you endure, you rise stronger than ever. He called this the path of becoming the overman, the one who rises above herd weakness, the one who writes his own values. In love, this means you do not cling. You do not attach like a child. You love as a creator, not a beggar. You give without chains. You enjoy without fear. And if the bond ends, you do not collapse, because you were whole before it began. Freud's path looks different, but it leads to the same freedom. He would say, you must become aware of your unconscious. The problem is not the person you love, not even the rejection you feel. The problem is the hidden wound that drives your attachment. Until you face it, you repeat the same story again and again. For Freud, healing comes through awareness. Look at your pain. Do not run. Ask yourself, why do I cling? Why do I fear being alone? Where does this terror come from? When you face those questions, the answers may break you, but they will also set you free. Because once you see the old wound, it loses its control over you. Together, Nietzsche and Freud tell us the same story in two voices. Nietzsche shouts, be strong. Freud whispers, be aware. Put them together and you see the real path. Strength with awareness. That is how you break chains. But let us be clear, breaking free is not easy. It will hurt. Nietzsche would say you must embrace the pain, even love it. He called this amor fati, the love of fate. Love your suffering, because it makes you who you are. Do not curse your heartbreak. Do not curse your loneliness. Embrace them. They are the fire that forges strength. Freud would add, listen to your suffering. It is not an enemy. It is a message. Depression, fear, longing, they are not random. They are signs from your unconscious, calling you to wake up. If you listen, you heal. If you ignore, you repeat. So how do you begin? First, stop lying to yourself. Admit the truth. Your attachment has made you weak. Your vulnerability has been used against you. Do not run from this truth. Nietzsche would say, only when you face the abyss can you rise above it. Freud would say, only when you face the wound can you heal it. Second, take back your power. Stop giving others the keys to your soul. If they leave, let them leave. If they hurt you, do not beg, do not cling. Feel the pain, but stand. Each time you stand, your spirit grows. Third, learn to be alone. This is the hardest step. Most people fear silence. Most people fear emptiness. But silence is not death. Emptiness is not death. In silence you find yourself. In emptiness, you discover your true strength. Nietzsche would tell you, only the one who can be alone is free to love without chains. Freud would say, when you are alone, the old wounds surface. This is good. Do not numb them. Do not drown them. Face them. Write them. Feel them. Only then can they lose their power. Breaking the chains of attachment does not mean never loving again. It means loving with freedom. It means being whole first, then opening your heart. It means giving without fear, because you no longer depend on the other for your sense of self. This is the freedom both Nietzsche and Freud point to. They come from different roads, one from the mountain of strength, the other from the cave of the unconscious, but they meet at the same place, liberation. So the real question now is, are you ready to break? Are you ready to face loneliness, pain, wounds, silence? Because only when you pass through these fires do you come out untouchable. We have walked through shadow and fire. We have seen how attachment enslaves, how vulnerability can cut deeper than a knife. We have heard Nietzsche demand strength, and Freud demand awareness. Now we stand at the end. The question is no longer why attachment is dangerous. The question is, what will you do with this truth? Nietzsche would not beg you to act. He would command. Rise, become the one who does not collapse when love fails. Become the one who holds their own heart in iron hands. He would say, do not seek safety in others. Do not kneel for pity. Stand, create, become. Freud would not command. He would warn. He would say, if you do not face your wounds, you will repeat them forever. You will chase the same lover, suffer the same heartbreak, replay the same story. Until you stop, until you listen, until you face the unconscious, you remain a prisoner. Together they draw the final picture. You are not safe in attachment. You are only safe in yourself. If you build yourself, love becomes a gift, not a need. If you face your wounds, love becomes clear, not blind. If you take back your power, no one owns your soul. But here is the hard truth. Freedom has a price. That price is pain. That price is loneliness. That price is the death of illusions. You must bury the dream that someone else will complete you. You must let go of the fantasy that love will erase your wounds. You must face the truth. No one is coming to save you. And yet, in this dark truth lies the light. Because once you stop waiting, once you stop clinging, once you stop begging, you become free. Free to love without fear. Free to stand without chains. Free to live with strength and awareness. Nietzsche would say, this is the path of the creator, the path of the overman. Freud would say, this is the path of the healed, the path of the awakened. Both would agree, only the strong and aware can love without being destroyed. So what does this mean for you? It means you must choose. Will you stay a prisoner of attachment, clinging to people who hold your strings, or will you break the chains, face the fire, and rise untouchable? Look at your past. Look at your heartbreak. Look at the pain that haunts you. Do you see the pattern? Do you see the wound beneath it? Do you see how every chain leads back to fear? Face it now. Do not hide. Do not run. Stand before it. That is the first act of power. Then, take the second step. Build yourself. Read, write, create, train. Grow strong in mind and body, Nietzsche would say. Forge yourself in struggle. Freud would say, know yourself through reflection. Together, they would tell you, make yourself whole, so you never again beg for wholeness from another. Finally, take the last step. Learn to love again, but this time without fear. Love not as a beggar, but as a giver. Love not with chains, but with wings. Love not to fill your emptiness, but to share your fullness. This is true love. This is free love. This is dangerous love, the kind that does not enslave, but liberates. This is the dark side of attachment. It destroys the weak, but it strengthens the strong. Vulnerability without awareness is poison. Vulnerability with strength is power. Attachment without self is slavery. Attachment with self is freedom. The world will not tell you this. The world will tell you to cling, to depend, to seek safety in the arms of another. But Nietzsche laughs at this. Freud shakes his head. And now, you know better. So remember this. Love will not save you. Only you can save yourself. And when you save yourself, love is no longer a chain, it becomes fire. Fire that warms but does not burn you down. Fire that you control, not fire that controls you. This is the teaching, this is the warning, this is the truth. The inner citadel is not outside. It is within you. Guard it, build it, live from it. And when the world tests you, when love wounds you, when people leave you, you will not fall. You will stand, you will rise, you will remain untouchable. That is freedom. That is strength. That is the end of chains. Now subscribe to join the brotherhood. See you in the next video.